What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Wise Journey. This has been a very successful adventure that we've all been on, getting to meet different people. We have another guest. Did you want to introduce yourself and say what you do?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Hi, everyone. My name is Mario Gosalvez. If we haven't met over the last few years, I am the insurance consultant for Wise Auto Group. I work for a company called Acrisure, which not many people have heard of, but for any NFL fans, the Pittsburgh Steelers play in Acrisure Stadium, so that's the best way to introduce us. So I work alongside your HR and finance departments to make sure you and your families are getting the best benefits available.
Nice.
So thanks for having me.
You get to be in the nitty-gritty of behind the scenes.
It is our proverbial tax season right now, open enrollment season. So we are very busy at work to make sure we'll be ready for open enrollment.
Nice. Did you want to kind of say what about open enrollment? Because a lot of people think it's automatically happening, but as you guys are preparing, we as employees need to prepare because open enrollment kicks off November 7th.
Absolutely. So This is a great time to remind folks open enrollment's on the way. We're kicking off on November 7th. So obviously there will be distribution of communications through Paylocity, but we're also using a new system this year, leveraging text messages. So we know everyone likes to get a quick text. We've all got enough emails. So there'll be a system by the name of TrueWho that will be deploying. So folks will be getting open enrollment communications on their phones via text messages as well. So keep an eye out, and we're kicking off November 7th.
Nice. Yeah. It's always interesting when, for some reason the connection between you and the employee gets, disconnected. So that's why we're in our creative state to where it's like, all right, well, what's another way that we can try to get a hold of an employee in regards to their open enrollment? So,
Yep.
I mean, everyone's texting now.
Yep.
And I feel like a lot of people's emails are blowing up. Yep. So, we're trying to find our way to make sure that, we're not missing you when giving us that information.
Yeah, and people are listening to podcasts too. So kudos to you guys. You're my only client that I know of that's leveraging podcasts. So well done.
Hey.
And this is my first
Stamp
one,
that.
So I was a little nervous on the drive up today. So.
It's okay. Oh, is that why you were running behind? You're doing some circles around the building.
Exactly. But no, probably another good thing we should highlight here about open enrollment. So just as a reminder, open enrollment's the one time a year opportunity for employees to make the right insurance decisions for themselves and their families. Whatever you pick is going to be locked in for all of plan year 2024. So again, all your benefits renew on January 1st. And you're not able to make any changes throughout the year unless you get married, get divorced, have a child, adopt a child, any interruption of group coverage, what we call a qualifying life event. So it's really important that people know, if they don't make their selections now during open enrollment and they want to change in May or June or anytime throughout the year absent one of those qualifying events, they won't be able to. That's a rule that we're not able to navigate. So people need to understand they're making a decision for the next 12 months here coming up.
Yeah, that's good to know going ahead because, like how you said, with the life-changing event, I remember the only time I ever changed my policy was after I got married. Mm-hmm. So I didn't even know that without that I am planning for the entire next year of what my benefits are going to be. Is there, as far as healthcare, a lot of stuff recently has been popping up on the news. So it definitely makes healthcare in general a very nerve-wracking thing to jump into or to still have. So has there been anything on your end that you've seen with the recent developments of?
Absolutely. So I'm sure as anyone's been paying attention, kind of most recently here with the Kaiser strike, a lot going on in healthcare. We had a pandemic where a lot of folks didn't go to the doctor for a couple years. That's really pushed a lot of extra cost into the system. We've got inflation that's affecting all industries, supply chain, and as mentioned, labor shortages, We don't have enough nurses. We don't have enough mental health providers. There's a lot of things stressed right now in the system. So, I always kind of liken the consumer journey around healthcare as the most complex that we have, because right now, if you want to buy anything, including a car, what do? You go online, right? You go online, you could have a car in 20 minutes downstairs, a brand new Dodge, or, you go on Amazon, right? Everything has been made so easy for you. Yet the one thing that is most important about staying healthy and could cost you a lot of money is the one that's the most confusing. So what we try and do here at Acrisure and the Human Resources Department here at WISE is we try and provide as much information and support as possible around open enrollment throughout the year. So we're not just here during open enrollment to help you, but just remember, we've got a benefit website with all the information that you need based on which specific dealership you're at. We've got, all the plan information you can need, how to find providers that are in network. There's a lot of things that we really want to remind people on to be smart consumers of healthcare, right? Staying in network, getting your preventive care, which we'll get into in a sec. But it's important that people take the time to learn, because it's not getting less complicated, and it's certainly not getting less expensive. The one kind of that sticks out is Kaiser right now, obviously a large health system.
Yes.
They lost $1.3 billion in 2022 for a variety of reasons. They're vertically integrated. They own their whole system. So what has that done? That's created quite a challenge for all employer groups throughout California, because those costs are now being passed on to employer groups, and now they're being passed on to employees. So what's great about the WISE Auto benefit offering is we've got a lot of different options, right? We've got, not only do we have 4 options with Kaiser, but we have multiple carriers. So I think it's important for people not just to do what a lot of people do during open enrollment, is to just say, I don't want to make any changes.
Yep.
Really peel back the onion, talk to us, learn about their different options. If you're not a high utilizer of healthcare, do you need that top
tier,
plan, right?
yeah.
Think about how much healthcare you consumed last year and what comes out of your paycheck, because WISE Auto Group is extremely generous. There's a lot of options that really limit what comes out of your paycheck. There's probably 6 different options for healthcare, less expensive than what I pay at an insurance consulting firm. So,
wow.
And I know
if
that's
you didn't know.
And I know that's been a deliberate, since I've started working with you, this is going on 4 years now. It's been a deliberate cultural mandate to make sure there's been affordable coverage for employees. And so that's exciting, right? The majority of the burden of these cost increases being taken on by WISE Auto Group.
Yeah, and that's it's like a behind the scenes thing. Not a lot of people know about that, or know that WISE takes a burden of the financial side of it to make sure that you're getting the best coverage. And even like with having open enrollment and planning ahead in the future, if you put it into perspective of a vehicle, in the ways of open enrollment and benefits, you don't want to plan around when your body's check engine light goes on. Mm-hmm. That is not the time where you want to be like, this is what I need to do. What do I need to do? So it's good that, you and the HR department really is ahead of the game to make sure that the employee has everything that they need. So yeah, don't wait for a dire emergency worst case scenario to happen to where you're like, well, what coverage do I like?
Mm-hmm.
That's not the time to talk about what you have going on. So,
yeah.
This is even a reflection for me. Like, I need to be ahead of, life itself.
Absolutely. No, and you bring up a good point. I might have to steal that check engine light. So it's even if you're healthy now, you're not going to make any changes. Really familiarize yourself with where all your access points are, first of all, right? With the Principal Dental Plan and the Principal/VSP Vision. There's so many providers that agree to discounted rates. So when we talk about what's a network, right? Anyone's going to take Principal Dental, but if you go in their network, you're going to save 30% every time you go in to get that cavity filled, or God forbid a crown or an implant. Those are big ticket items.
Yeah.
That 30% can mean a lot, and it will save you the rest of your benefit for a rainy day. So, my anecdote was a couple years back on vacation, my 4-year-old took a header into a cement garbage can, and all of a sudden I'm down in San Diego on my phone, and a guy's been doing this almost 15 years, and I'm trying to find an urgent care center. Now, I was traveling, so I guess I'll give myself a little bit of credit. But it put me in the consumer, I'm a consumer of healthcare first and foremost. I have a wife and 2 young daughters. They're actually both sick from school right now on my couch, coughing it up. And it's really important to remember that this stuff's complicated, so don't wait till that situation. For example, for folks, that, are going to go, okay, do I have my primary care physician? Am I going in for those annual physicals? We know where the nearest emergency room is usually. We don't always know where the nearest urgent care is. Do we know the difference in cost? Walk-in clinics. I know we're going to get into Sutter Health a little bit, but yeah, taking the time right now to make sure, maybe on your fridge, you got all the numbers you need and locations and their hours. Because when that 6-year-old is bleeding out her head, not the right time to try and figure it all out.
Yeah, and the mind gets cloudy, and it's like you try to think right in the moment. So it's like, where is the nearest?
And oftentimes it's the emergency room. So as my wife was trying to get to the emergency room, I said, wait, we can do this at an urgent care. So we did find an urgent care. But, non-emergency situations, the worst place to go is an emergency room.
Yeah.
Talk about, having to wait forever and the bill you get. Yeah, not
been
fun.
there. I've been on that side of
Not
it,
fun.
and no, thank you. If I had that option, I would just. I was talking with Shannon, and we were talking about even an ambulance ride. I was like, hey, if I'm ever at work and I need to go to the hospital, do not call an ambulance. Just drive me, carry me, walk me, whatever. So you were talking about Sutter. I hear that we have something going on with Sutter.
Yeah, and apologies, we know there's a lot of folks outside of the Sutter Health Plus service area, so if you'll indulge me for a quick minute to educate folks, in Vacaville, Sacramento, Northern California, where Sutter Health Plus is an option. Sutter Health Plus is one of the oldest, if not the oldest, medical group, Sutter Health, in California, headquartered in Sacramento. Really well positioned for folks that are, in the dealerships from Vacaville up. So whether it be, Fairfield, Vacaville, Davis, Sacramento, it's a great option. Not only are the plans great, the pricing is great. We actually are able to get better pricing from Sutter Health than we do Kaiser. So I know a lot of times folks are a little bit apprehensive about leaving the Kaiser system that they know. And I'm not here to tell people where to go for their, it's whatever fits you best. But, when you talk about Sutter Health Plus, it's also an HMO, just like Kaiser. But instead of being restricted to an on-campus setting where you have to go into the Kaiser facility for an X-ray prescriptions, they're more dispersed throughout your community. So here, down at the Monte Vista exit in Vacaville, I know right by Orange Theory and Navy Federal, there's the walk-in care. So for folks that are on Orange Drive, if you do want to consider moving to Sutter Health Plus, that's a great place. If you just have a common cold, can't get in your own doctor, a lot of times where do I go? I just go to Kaiser if I'm with Kaiser. Sutter Health's a little different. Davis just really revamped their maternity center, their emergency room, and obviously Sacramento. Sutter is the largest presence in Sacramento in terms of the medical providers, the hospital there. So I would just encourage people as Kaiser costs specifically go up, and I don't think I'm speaking out of turn here. Wise Auto has traditionally paid more towards Kaiser to try and offset the higher rates, but that's only so sustainable, right? We want to get to a place where, folks can choose the plan that's right for them, and Wise Auto can kind of make things more stable in terms of what they contribute. So, we're encouraging folks to look at other options outside of Kaiser if right now they've only stayed with Kaiser because that's what they know.
Yeah, and that was me up until a couple of years ago where I grew up, Children's Hospital was me, but I ended up going to Kaiser, and I was so used to it. I mean, it's like a phone plan is like you're so used to one company. So when you think about I can't afford it, you almost think there's no other option because it's like, well, what am I going to do? Because I'm so used to one.
My day started off this morning at 6:45 down in Palo Alto. It was a group that only had Kaiser, and then they got a 25% increase. So, they looked to me and said, hey, what are we going to do, right? Because this is, they're a nonprofit. And so we're bringing in Sutter Health Plus, and it's just about education. Like, hey, the actual places down in that neck of the woods, Silicon Valley, it's actually where I live. I go to those doctors anyways, and I'm on a PPO. So the best thing about Sutter Health Plus is it's PPO doctors at an HMO rate. And the other thing we really highlighted today, in addition to the great doctors, great hospitals, the walk-in clinics, the urgent cares, is how they do pharmacy. So now, a Kaiser member, if you have a prescription, you need to go to a Kaiser. Well, what if you don't live near a Kaiser? It's 15 minutes away. With Sutter Health Plus, they partner with CVS Caremark. So it's CVS, Walgreens, Safeway, Raley's, Costco, Walmart. So now what we want to do is demystify leaving Kaiser if someone does want to do that, and understand most folks have a CVS or a Walgreens right down the street. I even saw Rite Aid on the list. I know Rite Aids aren't around a ton anymore, but really demystifying how do we access care if it's not just I go to Kaiser and I'm just in that building and they tell me where to go. We want to enable you to be more informed consumers of healthcare because one, it's going to save money in your paycheck, right? We can afford to contribute more towards Sutter Health Plus plans because they're a lot less expensive, but not to be scared that there's a drop off in care. The specialists are there, walk in, primary care, and then obviously the pharmacies are more accessible than Kaiser.
Yeah, and I do like with the Sutter plan, again, not trying to sway anyone one way or the other, but they kind of divvy up the workload on like the pharmacy and all that stuff. So it's cool that you don't have to go to Kaiser to get your prescription or X-ray or whatever. Well, this is a lot of information, and we're going to pile it on a little bit more. Is there any closing statement, maybe any other tips for onboarding for open enrollment? Well, not onboarding, for open enrollment.
Yeah, I think, one is educate yourself. Make sure you're going into Paylocity. First and foremost, you have a company-paid life insurance benefit, so God forbid something happens. Where is that money going to get paid out? So that's called designated your beneficiary in Paylocity, so that's critical. So if you do nothing else, make sure someone's in there, right, that you care about, that you want that money to go to if something did happen, but also making sure all your information in there is correct. So you don't want to be at the doctor and them not being able to fill a prescription because you keyed in your social security number wrong or your address wrong. So making sure information is correct, even if you're making no changes. Educate yourself on the options available to you. Reach out to our team, to the HR team to learn more about your benefits. And talk about options. I mean, Wise Auto Group has more options than in any other employer group I have. Voluntary options. My kids are playing sports. I've got an accident plan. You've got way more than just an accident plan here through American Fidelity. So continue to understand there's a lot of really cool benefits that you can only get through your work, payroll deducted at group rates. And make sure you're picking a plan that's right for you for the next 12 months. You're making a buying decision for 12 months. So if you're trying something new, you're only locked in for 12 months. And then kind of just to close out here, Nate, and I appreciate you indulging me if I can get on my soapbox. And again, I'm a healthcare consumer primarily with two young girls who are sick right now. We've got to be a lot smarter about how we engage in our healthcare. So what does that mean? Are we being religious about our annual physicals? Well, I turned 40 last November. If I wasn't doing it before, which I was, I'm definitely getting in every year for my annual physical. So I had that on Friday. With that, I really advocate for people doing their blood work, sometimes called the biometric screening. That comes free with your Affordable Care Act, your Obamacare system, meaning you get an annual physical every year at no cost and you get blood work at no cost. So why wouldn't you do it? I was back in my office at 2 o'clock that day and Sutter Health had put into my app all of my test results. So my cholesterol profile, my blood sugar, all the things that would let you know if you're predisposed to diabetes or heart disease. Those are all the markers that they're checking for so you can be more informed. Do you need diet and exercise? Do you need in a prescription intervention, right? If you don't know, what are you going to do? Right. And these are kind of what we call the silent killers in this country, right? There's such a prevalence of both of them. So making sure you're really engaged in your preventive care, but then let's say you got the sniffles or you think you have a sinus infection. Do you need to go to the doctor for that? Do you need to go to your primary care? Can you go to a walk-in clinic or can you do a virtual visit? So virtual visits, we need to remind people of, as we mentioned, staying out of the emergency room unless it's a true emergency. So what people need to remember is if it's a true emergency, you could be anywhere in the world. You get to the nearest hospital. Any other example of your medical necessity, that's the worst place to go for the aforementioned reasons. So urgent care, walk-in, virtual, being compliant with your medications. All right, if you're diabetic, being really compliant with that treatment. Getting your twice a year cleanings for dental. You guys have a great dental plan given to you here at Wise with the opportunity to buy up to an even better one. Why wouldn't you take advantage? Because if you catch something when it's a filling before it's a root canal, you're going to save yourself $1,000, $1,500. You're going to save your teeth. Right, exactly. You're not going to be wearing dentures when you're older. So just being really, and getting if you're on the vision plan, which is afforded to all employees as well, getting those vision exams. So just checking all those boxes again, especially as we get older. I'm 40, I'm in that category. Things start to break down like a car, right? Yeah. And so making sure that you're getting the most value on the benefits once you have them. I always pick on, the males 25 to 50. We're the biggest culprits of not knowing who our doctor's name is. Do we have a doctor? Don't wait till later. So, sometimes we're afraid of what we might learn. It's just obtrusive. We have to be better about engaging our healthcare to stay healthy and to save money. So those would be my kind of consumer tips here is just make sure you're really engaged. And there's a lot of things you can do on your medical, dental, and vision plans that don't cost you any money.
And I mean, that's why I'm glad that you're able to come on, because you're able to remind. I mean, I hope that everyone here has obtained something from this, because pretty much Mario's my reminder to get my physical, blood work,
Yep.
and dental work.
You got
So
my cell phone now, so just text me if you got any questions. And the last one, if you're taking a maintenance medication, get that mail order, right? Get 3 months for the price of 2. Why would you want to go to the pharmacy? Save some money, have that mailed to your house. So yeah, again, just if you have questions, reach out to our team. We're here to support. I encourage everyone to go to the benefit website, and certainly come November 7th, we need to get everyone into Paylocity, make sure folks are making the right decisions for themselves and their families.
yeah, and what's going to be cool is we're going to actually include the benefits page and all this in the video, so that they don't need to ask, where do I go. But yeah, thank you so much, Mario, for coming on and
Appreciate it.
making this very informative to myself, and hopefully to the employees at Wise. And I'm glad that you are a part of the Wise team.
No, I appreciate it, and thank you to my team here at Wise. From Justin in finance to George Allen, who started the HR department when I first started, to Dari Ethel, everyone here in HR. I mean, if you don't know by now that Wise Auto cares about their employees, I go, you guys are giving cars away. So, it certainly pertains to benefits. There's a lot of work throughout the year that goes into this.
Yeah.
We're just, in spotlight here come November, but throughout the year we're refining. A lot of people are making sure that they're doing right by employees and their families. So thank you guys for having me. Appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you.
Yeah.